In May 2015, Steven Gerrard said goodbye to the Kop after a 17-year playing career with Liverpool that saw him play 710 times, where he arguably became the club's greatest ever player. Today, he returns in the opposition dugout as head coach of Aston Villa as Anfield awaits the return of a true Liverpool legend. Liverpool at home to Aston Villa, and Gerrard's return to Anfield is our main match of a three-game goal rush on what will undoubtedly be another electric atmosphere on Merseyside. Arsenal against Southampton and Chelsea versus Leeds are the other two matches during Goal Rush. The late game is at Carrow Road as Norwich take on ᴅᴏ宜'ᴛ's Manchester United in the German second Premier League match in charge. And on another day, when we'll see all three of the top teams in action, we start at the Etihad Stadium for Wolves' trip to the champions Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's side have won 31 times in this calendar year, and he has Raheem Sterling in the starting 11 today, looking to become the latest member of the 100 club in the Premier League. Couple of changes. Phil Foden's only a substitute, so too Kevin De Bruyne, and Kyle Walker is left amongst the substitutes today. Wolves under Bruno Lage have only scored once in their last 5 Premier League games. He recalls João Moutinho. Adama Traoré scored both goals on Wolves' only victory in their last 9 visits to Manchester City. And City start the day a point ahead of Liverpool, who themselves are 1 clear of Chelsea. The top 3 separated by 2 points. They all play today, as does 6th place Manchester United, with the opportunity to go level on points with 4th place West Ham. Norwich could go above Newcastle, of course, before they play Leicester tomorrow. Watford 3 points above the drop zone after their 2-1 late defeat in the first game of the weekend away at Brentford last night. Welcome along to Matchday Live, and what a day in prospect, headlined by Steven Gerrard's return to Anfield. With me, 2 people who know Steven Gerrard very well, Sean Wright-Phillips and Michael Owen. You grew up with him, you've been in touch with him this week. How on earth will he feel, do you think, when he walks out of that tunnel at 5-3 today?
Mixed emotions, I think. Proud that he's, already got to a standard in his managerial life where he can take a team to Liverpool. And of course, the ultimate dream has to be to manage Liverpool himself and be in that opposite dugout one day. But for now, I think he's very proud to go back. I think, you can't get that love out of your heart for a certain team, and he'll obviously walk in, know everybody, feel that love towards him, and vice versa. So it's a very strange emotion going back to your old club. I felt it myself, and I'm sure he'll be feeling it as well. But once the whistle goes and he's focused on the game, I think he'll revert to type and want to win this game.
But leading up to kick-off and in the tunnel, did you have that when you went back to City?
Yeah, of course. Like Mo said, it's just one of those things. There's not really a way around it. But once that whistle does eventually go, then it's kind of all in the back of your head, and people know what Stevie G's character's like, and my character was like, okay, I might love this club, but I want to win, and anything I can do to make that happen, I'm basically going to do. So I think his mind frame will be just to pick up the 3 points.
But having said that, the build-up to this game won't be like any other for him.
No, it won't. I mean, I must admit, I didn't like it. I didn't like playing against my old club. And I'm sure he'll be the same. But the build-up in particular, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot written, a lot said. He's had such a good start already to his managerial career, but certainly at Aston Villa, I think he's won 3 out of 4, only got beat to Manchester City. And the team seems to be playing a lot better. I know from talking to a couple of Villa players as well, they absolutely love the new setup, not just Steven Gerrard, but the coaching setup as well. So I think there'll be so many emotions going through his mind, but it's important to state, when that whistle goes, it's almost that you just go into some trance. You're in a trance, and as I say, you revert to type, and he'll be desperate to win. As soon as the whistle blows for the end of the game, again, you almost come down from this strange planet that you're on, and you start thinking straight again. But he'll be desperate to win, no question about it.
I mean, even strange things. 17 years he's walked into Anfield. He's never been in the away dressing room. He's got to turn the other way today.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange feeling, because I had that feeling when I went back to City, when I was at Chelsea, and I automatically walked towards the home dressing room, and somebody had to say to me, no, the other way now, Sean, do you know what I mean? But that's just like a routine that he was in. But I think now, like we're both saying, he will be desperate to pick something up here for sure. And the character of Stevie G needs to come away with the game with something. He doesn't have that losing mentality. And as a manager, as Mo said, he's been fantastic at Rangers and now at Villa, and I think he's only going to get better and better.
And you know what that Anfield crowd is like. I mean, try and put into words what that reception's going to be like for him when he emerges from those steps.
It will be. It will be unbelievable. The Liverpool fans are known as being very supportive. We've all played all over the country. There's certain fans that get on your back straight away if things aren't going right. Liverpool fans are very patient, very knowledgeable, very supportive. And they also know in the back of their head that this could be their manager again one day. Even Jurgen Klopp mentioned it, of course, in his press conference. Not that he had any option, because that's the only question he was probably being asked. But there will be so much love for this guy coming back to Anfield. I mean, they adored him. He was there. I mean, I joined the club when I was 11. He'd already been at the club a year or two, and we basically came through the ranks. He's everything that a fan wants in their team. A local lad that's got the heart, the character, the quality, and he's got everything. I mean, it's just a matter of time, I'm sure, before he becomes Liverpool manager. Of course, subject to how well Jurgen Klopp does over the next few years.
Indeed, yeah. To say he's one of their own is something of an understatement, of course. 710 games, and those trophies as well. 3 he lifted as a captain. And he is back for the first time today.
He's a man revered by his people like nobody before him.
Steven Gerrard proves again to be Liverpool's man of the moment.
If this is Anfield, then he is Liverpool.
I think the early memories of Steven Gerrard is that everyone talked about him even before he kicked the ball for the Liverpool's first team. So I grew up in Highton the same as Steven, and I can remember going to the barbers and there being a picture of Steven on the wall before he'd even made his debut for Liverpool.
I was talking to Gerrard earlier, he was talking about him, and he said he went up to the academy to watch one guy play, and Stevie stood out. He's playing the same game, and as a young kid, bossing the game and everything, and Gerrard just said, who was he? And it was Steven Gerrard.
And a youngster who's never even featured on the team sheet before is going to be given his opportunity for Liverpool. Promoted from the youth side, fresh-faced teenager Steven Gerrard.
He just looked like an ordinary lad off the street, and essentially that's what he was. He looked like any other Scouse lad of that age, of 18 years old. The shirt that day looked massive on him. And I remember as well that his name wasn't even on the back of the programme. But you know, now when you look back, you're like, well, that was the start of something special. I think he come on as a substitute against Everton in a game that Liverpool ultimately won 3-2. But there were a couple of efforts at the Anfield Road end that I seem to remember, and Steven cleared them off the line, and he celebrated clearing them off the line. You know, there was a clenched fist when he did it. And I love that because, you know, I was in the stands at the time thinking, well, if I'd have been lucky enough to ever play for Liverpool, that's what I'd be like. It'd mean that much to me. So, you know, the passion for the club shone through early doors.
He made his mark, and he became a leader at an early age. It's a massive club, been so many great captains over the years, but at 23 to be captain, that just goes to show how good he was mentally as well as physically. You know, he was not just doing it on the pitch, but he's a leader off the pitch as well, and that's what makes him stand out from everyone else.
People thought, well, you know, a 23-year-old lad, is that the right decision? But I actually think, looking back, that it was a masterstroke from Gerrard Houllier. Gerrard wanted him to be a little bit more professional, dedicate his life to the game, and I think giving him the armband helped him along the way with that.
Gerrard with the header, 3-1. How Liverpool needed this. Gerrard goes down in the box, penalty, and he gets the rebound, 3-3. Oh, it's a terrible penalty, and Liverpool, against all odds, have won the Champions League.
3-0 down to a fantastic Milan side. I don't think there was anyone really in the ground that at half-time thought Liverpool were going to do what they did, but maybe Steven Gerrard did.
When he scored that first goal, you know, and he got the crowd going, he got the players going, and he was the reason why, you know, he changed the game.
The 2006 FA Cup final was absolutely amazing. I was at that one and it just didn't feel like it was ever going to be our day. But all the way through, Stephen never ever gave up. And it's one of the greatest goals I've ever seen. It's one of the greatest goals ever in a cup final. That is the Steven Gerrard final.
Torres, Gerrard's made the run ahead of him. Gerrard! 3-0 Liverpool! And the men of the moment celebrate together in front of the cup.
He was central to 2009, that challenge that year. He was at the peak of his powers, linking up with Fernando Torres, and it was an absolute pleasure to watch and a great side to watch. I think the other challenge in 2014 under Brendan Rodgers was more unexpected. I don't think we expected it to go as far as it did. We came so close, and Stephen was more of an elder statesman then.
In the dressing room, he was a leader. You know, even when he went out with the supporters, you know, he got the supporters behind him, and he always had time for other people.
Everything's pointing to the fact that he'll be a good manager, and I hope he will be. I think Stephen did a great job at Rangers. Went up there, broke Celtic's stranglehold on the title, and now he's back down here with Aston Villa, and it doesn't surprise me at all that he's doing well, because I think he's always been a big thinker about the game. He's always been motivated.
I think everyone knows around the world what Liverpool means to me, but the focus and my commitment is very much on Aston Villa.
Stephen will always get a fantastic reception at Anfield. There's no two ways about that. I'm sure when he walks out on the pitch, the Kop will give him a fantastic welcome.
Once that game starts, he'll want Aston Villa to win. No one will want to beat Liverpool more than Steven Gerrard on Saturday. I can guarantee that 100%.
An emotional day, but as both Michael and Sean have said, come that kick-off time, he will be in the zone. Now, you were very fortunate to play with some of the world's top stars in your playing career. Where does he rank, Steven Gerrard?
Well, I mean, from a technical point of view, whenever anyone asks me who's the best player, I always say Zidane, because, I mean, he was just born to play with the ball. However, if you say to me you're playing in a World Cup final tomorrow, go and pick your team, he is the first name I put on my team sheet. He's just absolutely everything you want in a player. Rises to the big occasion, scores, creates, can tackle, can shoot, can head it. He's quick, he's strong. Name one thing that Steven Gerrard can't do. He's the most all-round player I've ever seen. He's always been absolutely elite, right from when I first joined the academy at 11 years of age. Perfect temperament. He's just a beast of a player. Always was. And a lot of great players have played for that club over the years, but, you know, I cannot imagine anybody of the standard of Steven Gerrard. I mean, for longevity, for quality, even playing in a team, actually, for those 15 years or whatever it was, he didn't play in the greatest of teams. I mean, he never obviously won the league, and that's nothing to do with him. So, I mean, yes, if you look at trophies, then other people will come ahead of him in that red shirt. But I don't think there's anyone ever played the game for Liverpool better than him.
You obviously played against him, but also with him, he was your England captain as well.
Yeah.
Great leader even then?
Yeah, I think that he always took care of the players, not only on the pitch by like his attitude and the way he played, but off the pitch as well. If the boys we needed anything sorted, and he wanted to make sure we was always good, and I think that was just a testament to what sort of leader he wanted to become and how he had the Liverpool team playing it. At times I remember the game, I think it was the Champions League final, where they were 2-0 down and pretty much it looks like everyone's going to give up apart from him, and he manages to take that game by the scruff of his neck and turn it around. And now I think if he takes that sort of passion he played with into managing, it's always going to rub off on the players.
In your early Liverpool career, it appeared you had a telepathic relationship. If we were doing those assists tables back then, he'd have a fair few for you, wouldn't he?
I would say so. Or we're going to see a few of them here, I guess. But yeah, listen, as soon as we joined together as a combination, let's say, I mean, every Saturday we'd be playing for our under-11s, under-12s, and it'd be 4-0 and Gerrard 4 assists and Owen 4 goals. We just had that, as you say, telepathic understanding between each other. It is very special, because I know exactly what he's thinking. He knows exactly what I'm thinking. I know his strengths. He knows where I want to go. And that combination, I mean, you can pick it up with players. Of course, if two players are on the same wavelength, then you can really pick it up. But to have it straight away as 11-year-olds and then just continue and breeze through all the age groups, then into the first team and continue that, it was comforting knowing as soon as he gets the ball, I could score a goal here. And it just kept you on your toes, you know. The ball be passed to a centre midfielder and you think, oh, he's not going to do much. Gerrard gets, wow, I just come alive. And he was just the most unbelievable player in terms of his football brain. Yeah, stunning, absolutely stunning player.
What was he like to play against? Not just as a player, but as you say, the influence he had on that team.
Just a nightmare, to be honest with you. He had that naughty side of the game in a very clever way, which most people with his qualities, they kind of stay away from, where, like Mo said, he was so complete in a player that if he needed to be naughty but cute, he had that as well to give people, like, if you come down my side, this is what you're going to have to deal with, sort of thing. And to have that along with the ability he had, I think that kind of kept his game in a level where certain midfielders wouldn't go near him, because he had that aura on the pitch where his bat was nearly won before the game had started, just on the mental side of it. And you really needed to be on your A game and hope that he had half a decent game, basically, which was very rare.
Now, talking of playing against him, you know, we love to go into the archives. We've gone to February 2004 because both you two gentlemen and Steven Gerrard involved in this game. Needless to say, Owen was on the score sheet. Remember this one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. No, it's... I'm not sure about the hairstyle, but...
Well, I wasn't going to mention that. But you remember some of these tackles, Sean?
Yeah, this was just him, and he actually thinks he gets the ball there. That's the worst thing about it, but that's the clever and cuteness about him. He puts himself in a position where he makes it difficult for others. And this ᴍᴏᴱ there again, they get on very well as well. They used to, but once they got on the pitch, they were enemies basically. But playing with Steve Mack was a privilege for me, and he puts it exactly where I want it. Just striked it across the face of the goal.
What a finish.
But there was only one man who was going to settle it on the day.
And it wasn't me. Can I claim the assist for that, Steve?
Of course.
Yeah. Well, at the Kop end as well. I mean, he scored so many big goals for Liverpool. So many big goals. I mean, of course, Sean referred to the Champions League final, but they wouldn't even got near the Champions League final that season had he hadn't scored against Olympiacos literally in the dying seconds. I mean, FA Cup finals were won basically solely by Stevie. He was just a staggering player. I mean, I could sit here all day and talk about how good a player he was and how good a person he is as well. And I'm so pleased he's happy now. He's near his family. He's in the Premier League. He's exactly where he belongs. OK, well, let's have a word with one of his Aston Villa players to see how they've been impressed with Steven Gerrard, the manager, just 4 Premier League games in. The goalkeeper, Emi Martinez.
Steve is a new modern manager. He's a winner. He won everything as a player, and now as a manager he showed how good he is at Rangers. They won the league unbeaten after I don't know how many years Celtic was winning in a row. And in 3 weeks he showed us the way he wants us to play. Obviously we're not at the level that he wants us to play in terms of ball possession and owning the pitch, but he gave us a really good plan of distances between centre back to midfielder to strikers. We know exactly how to press, and you can see we're not being conceding many goals. But in training, he's really good, mate. He's really good. Stevie is going to be a great manager. It reminds me of Arsene Wenger. You know, that presence when he comes into the dressing room or when he comes into the building. It's like that presence of Stevie's here. You know, the gaffer when he comes in, right gaffer. You know. When Arsene Wenger used to come to the dressing room, eyeballs, you know, just that mutual respect. I go with the gaffer now. In the Premier League, every team is tough. We went there last season and we lost at the end. We beat them at home 7-2. So it's a Premier League match. Obviously, they're on fire. The front three is probably one of the best in the Prem. But we got no fear. We're going to go there toe to toe and try to win. He's not going to prepare the game to not concede many goals or get a draw and be happy. He's going to prepare the game to win. he's a winner. That's what I like about him.
Fascinating insight from inside the Aston Villa dressing room. Did you have any doubt at any time that he would go into management and already make a success of it?
No, but he was a slow burner. I mean, when he was young, he was quite shy. If he went into the, Liverpool dressing room, England dressing room as a 17, 18-year-old, let's say, he was quite shy. And he certainly developed, his persona, his character over the years. As soon as he got the skipper's armband, then I think it took him to another level as well, and he felt so comfortable in his own skin that he could actually then help others. And he grew into that role. I don't think he was born into, like when I played with someone like John Terry, who you'll know well, Sean, when he was 20, already he was bossing people around. He was like a born leader, whereas Stevie grew into that. And certainly was a brilliant leader eventually, but I wouldn't have said it at 17, 18, but then as soon as he turned 26, 27, it was just a total guarantee he was going to go into management.
Was he more shy than you?
Probably not, no.
Mold's not shy.
Leadership, you saw it in as a teammate and an opponent. What about the way he's taken to management then with the two clubs?
I think it's been a breath of fresh air for me. I think when he went to Rangers, the way he transformed them and had them playing, it was really good to see. But I think to come into the Premier League and do what he's done and only really lose against City, which people expected and expect the top four to lose against City effectively. So I think he's done a fantastic job. I've watched the game against City, and the second half, there was spells in the game where they could actually won the game, but City hung on. So for me, he's got such a massive career ahead of him in the Premier League. Be exciting to see where it goes next.
And it was interesting to hear Emi Martinez say there about the order of him when he arrives at the dressing room, and he's only ever seen that once in Arsene Wenger at Arsenal.
He has got an aura. I mean, you can't. Yeah, he's was an unbelievable player. He's got size. He's got presence. He had an aura, as Sean said, on the pitch, and off the pitch is the same. When he walks into a room, when someone of his quality walks into a room, you think, oh, Steven Gerrard's just walked. You feel it. You don't even have to look. You feel someone's walked into the room. As I say, his sheer size and presence, and he could walk into any dressing room in the world and command respect. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, listen, you don't always have to have played the game to the highest level to be a successful manager, but you probably have to spend longer trying to earn your stripes, whereas he walks in straight away, people listen before anything else.
Jurgen Klopp said it, Michael said it, he's bound to be Liverpool manager one day.
I don't know.
Why?
Because for me, what do they do with Klopp? If Klopp wants to stay, do what they just...
He's not going to stay forever, is he, Sean?
No, I don't think he'll stay forever, but if, say, they give him another 3 or 4 year contract and, say, a club like Man City or another big club comes in for the likes of Stevie G, what does he do? Does he turn it down? Or does he just sit around and wait and hope that space at Liverpool opens up for him? So, as much as I believe that would be a great job for him, it's all about timing, and sometimes the timing is wrong for me.
It is a fascinating thing because...
Well, he ain't going to manage Chelsea or United, is he?
You wouldn't have thought so. But he nearly went to play for Chelsea.
Exactly. And he turned them down.
Eventually. He didn't foresee...
That's another discussion for another day.
He didn't foresee this job coming up. He's happy at Rangers, and you can't control when opportunities come along. Yeah. That's the point of it. We all think it's going to be a perfect world and that Jurgen Klopp will probably do another 3-4 years or something like that, and that could be the perfect timing, actually. Because Steven Gerrard's still very young in his managerial career. Yeah. We're saying he's done a great job at Villa. He's only played 4 games. So let's see how he goes, and let's see what happens, of course, with Jurgen Klopp. But I think if you ask Liverpool fans, they'd be absolutely desperate for Jurgen Klopp to continue for the next few years. It's just comforting to know in the background that there's a young lad that played for the team, that was probably their best ever player, that's doing particularly well in management. And if anything ever went wrong with Jurgen Klopp, he could easily fit into that dugout.
But then the other part of the discussion is, would you want to be the one that follows Jurgen Klopp? It's a bit like following Sir Alex Ferguson.
I know, it's timing, isn't it? I mean, if you've still got the likes of Mo Salah and players like that, then it's hard to fail, I suppose. But yeah, if it's in 4 years, let's say, when the likes of Salah and Mane and Van Dijk are coming to the end of their careers, Henderson's gone, all of a sudden that becomes a more difficult challenge. But hey, let's hope we're all there to see it.
Fascinating. That's our main game in Goal Rush. Steven Gerrard back at Anfield. Before that, we're going to watch the champions.
Maybach